It brings us back into studio now. Thank you so much for your patience in the original discussion that we're meant to have around the farmer worker who allegedly at first was believed to have been shot by the farmer owner. It's now transpired that it was indeed the security officer who appeared in court on Monday. That case is now postponed. Zanele Lwana is Deputy President of Black First, the Land First. Good evening to you and thanks for joining us. And Alex Mdagane from the Young Communist League, South Africa, Gauteng Provincial Secretary. Just your reaction on that particular story.
As the Black First, Land First movement, we are aware that this is not an isolated event. We know that black people who work in farms continue to be subjected to situations that perpetuate slavery. They are victimized, they are murdered by white farm owners in this country because of their arrogance. They own the land, we are landless as the black majority in this country. We strongly believe as the Black First, Land First movement that the only way to end the murderers, the killings of our people in the land of their birth is for us to be united as the black majority in this country, to occupy the farm that belongs to whoever is arrogant, land thief, has the guts to continue to kill our people, occupy that farm, take it over, expropriate it back to the members of the community and to black people who remain landless in this country. We believe also that the government has been very, very slow in dealing with the killings of our people in farms. We rather suggest and strongly recommend to the government that we need a commission of inquiry into the killings of our people in farms that is going to make sure, in fact, that the racist land thieves of AfriForum and any other racist formations end up in jail. And they do not only end up in jail, they get deported to where they come from. They must go to Holland, they must go to Europe, because clearly they have no morals or whatsoever to live with our people. We say, as the Black First, Land First, not now, not in the present of a movement such as Black First, Land First, we are going to continue to be killed, undermined by a white settler minority in this country, in the country of our birth.
I mean, just looking at the statutory law, that doesn't necessarily define farm killings as such, as a crime. It speaks about crime in general. Do you think that there is a level where we might be hypersensitive, that any form of violence, if it's based on two different groups, that automatically that has racial undertones in your view, Mr. Mdagan?
Well, the unfortunate part with the laws that govern this country, excuse me, is that there are certain things that they do not take into consideration. For instance, the historical injustices that have been meted against the black majority in this country, and how the farms post the 1994 democratic breakthrough have become a stage or a platform at which the acts that the pre-1994 rulers of the state, reacted to or had a particular relationship with the black majority in this country. And of course, as you indicated earlier, we are told that it was the security guard that shot the black farm worker. In fact, in South Africa, you have a situation where paramilitary groups, mostly operated by white farmers, are now registered as security companies, and they have the authority now, because they are certified as security company, they have the authority to shoot at will. This is unacceptable, and we send our deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. Not only him, but many other farm workers, who perished in the farms, and these farm murders of black workers are underreported in this country, unfortunately.
But how do you then, within the parameters of the law, ensure that there is justice and there is punitive measures without necessarily creating an environment of distrust or anarchy, or as some has been saying, that the whole talk about radical economic transformation will regress the advancements that we've made in terms of social cohesion?
We know that white settlers in this country, they are arrogant, they continue to kill us, they continue to enslave us, they continue to colonize us, because they have the country. As the black majority, we are poor, we are impoverished, we are hungry, we own nothing in this country. The best way to deal with the arrogance of the descendants of Cecil John Rhodes and Jan van Riebeeck I repeat again, is to unite the black majority and take over the farms. It is good, actually, that the ruling party has even announced on a policy position of land expropriation without compensation, because this is the only way we are going to be able to regain our dignity as the black majority in this country. This is the only way, in fact, black people can actually realize who the enemy is, because the mainstream media, controlled by forces of imperialism, tells us as black people that our enemy is comrade President Zuma and the so-called Gupta family. These farm killings, the farm owners who continue to kill our people, helps, or rather we should be outraged as the black majority to direct our rage and discomfort to the enemy. The enemy in this country remains white settler colonizers who have occupied 80% of the land, who continue to enslave us in the country of our birth. We must face the enemy. We must tell them that this is our country and they must go to jail. Any racist person that continues to victimize black people in this country, they must be warned, they must be ready, because we are coming for everything. We are coming for the farms, and it's time up for black people. We are going to tolerate any levels of arrogance and killing our people, and the country continues as business as usual.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we are restricted, if you like, by the law. We are a constitutional run country in the sense that whatever you do doesn't have to infringe on the rights of any other group. So to allay the fears of those that have or perpetuated the narrative that the Swart Gafar is coming to come and get every white person, that is not true. The focus is on the monopoly of those that are still enjoying the land and its productivity. Let's come back to the confidence we have in the state agencies, especially in the security cluster. If you look at the case against the so-called coffin duo, who were convicted of a racially motivated crime, that the law in itself needs to take its course without us necessarily hyperventilating on issues of redress.
Well, we as the Young Communist League recognize the law as a necessary conduit to achieving justice, but we equally understand that the laws of this country are subject to interpretation. So, for instance, you might find a situation where, in the final analysis, the judge is going to make a judgment on the basis of his or her emotions. We don't know who the judge that is going to preside over the case is. We don't know what his historical background is. But what we have come to understand in this country, insofar as judgments are concerned, is that judges cannot separate themselves from particular incidents, especially if they are racially motivated. The case of the coffin murders, the whites that were, the farmers that were eventually convicted of the crime, came as a result, to a great extent, of public pressure. If it wasn't for public pressure, it would have been just another case, like many other cases that are underreported, like many other farm matters that are swept under the carpet that the public of South Africa doesn't get to know about.
So you're saying that, of course, as a collective, these things can be brought to the surface and dealt with adequately so that we do reach equality. I think at the bottom of it all is about the injustice that is still perpetrated in various sectors.
Yeah, as we have came out clear as the Black First Land First movement, that the government must act very fast, must be very prompt in dealing with these kinds of situations, because since apartheid, since 1994, if we can just look at the evictions of black people who have been living all their lives in farms, our people were killed there, things of such nature, they still continue to happen, right? So it's very important for government to act very fast on these things and make sure that the white murderers who continue to victimize our people pay the price, they go to jail, and we strongly suggest that they must be deported back to where they come from. But also importantly, we know that white people know no law in this country. They know no law, and they even know that the courts or any law enforcement agency continues to rule in their favor. That's why our people can be killed in farms, mistaken for a monkey, mistaken for a warthog, mistaken for all kinds of things.
Zanele, the issue about white privilege,
the country, and they can get away with anything. But we say again, that time has come to an end.
Yeah, well, it's a debate that we'll continue to have as South Africa, I guess, in dealing with the issues of the past injustices and how we bring equilibrium for all to live in harmony. But thanks indeed to our guest. Alex Mdagane is with the Young Communist League South Africa as the Gauteng Provincial Secretary, and Zanele Luana is Deputy President of Black First, Land First. Thanks for joining us. We're back after this break.